So hopefully that gives just a bit of a kind of start to thinking about this idea of mental time travel, which you could hear there is about noticing that we do spend a lot of time in the future, kind of planning or worrying or imagining what might happen or go wrong, or time in the past, sort of going over what happened or feeling disappointed about what happened. And that can really take us away, I suppose, from the present moment where we connect. What I sort of wanted to say a little bit about this is that I think this this capacity for developing mental representations of the future and the past is probably a kind of unique human ability. I mean, it may be that other animals can do it, but we can do it really well, and that probably is really useful to us because it allows us to plan for the future, learn from our mistakes. We know about this. We can plan things in the future, like imagine what our future holiday will be like. And we can also remember things. We can remember what our last holiday was like and learn from whether that was a good one or a bad one. So it can be really useful to us, but it also can sometimes go wrong. And that's what this is about. It's not about never spending time thinking about the future, planning, or remembering the past, but it's thinking about times where we get too caught up in that. When mental time travel goes wrong, we can start to feel kind of overly pessimistic or depressed if we're kind of getting bogged down in some of the painful or disappointing things that we can remember happening. Or equally, we can become overly worried or anxious about the future by getting caught up with kind of potential future disasters. So these are examples of getting caught up in the past or the future and starting to lose touch with the present. Mindfulness can help us to reconnect with the present when we're getting caught up in this kind of mental rumination. So just some examples. You might have noticed yourself getting caught up with mental time travel, like when, I don't know if you had this experience of feeling your blood begin to boil when you recall a situation where you were treated unfairly or someone you care about was treated unfairly. It's like you can bring that back to the present. Or you might kind of actually cringe when you remember a really embarrassing thing that happened. It's almost like we're replaying in our mind and reliving the emotions attached to those mental images attached to the past. And equally, we can do that about the future. So if you can recall a time maybe when you were preparing for an important event, like maybe a job interview or an important meeting or maybe like a public speaking event, you might have found yourself replaying over in your mind various things that could go wrong, and perhaps you even found yourself sort of pre-living these disaster scenarios, feeling what it would be like if that happened. And of course that adds extra stress on top of the existing level of stress you probably have anyway about this event that's coming up. So the idea of mindfulness is not to take away stress from our lives or feelings of sadness or depression or anxiety from our lives, but more to stop from adding more on top. So stopping us from adding loads of extra stress and distress on top of those normal aspects of stress that come with life. And like John Kabat-Zinn said, the only place we can really live is in the present. The past is already gone, can't be changed, the future is yet to arrive, and we can't really know what the future will be. So by reconnecting with the present, we ground ourselves to reality and we avoid the whirlwind of emotional turmoil that can be churned up by overthinking about things. And if you just think about sort of our animal friends, they don't seem to have this problem, I don't think. I mean, I don't know, I can't really think of the last time I noticed like a dog or a cat, getting really stressed out about what might go wrong tomorrow. They tend to sort of occupy the present. Maybe they do to an extent, but not to the level that humans do in terms of the way we can elaborate about the future and the past. So it might be worth sort of learning from them, perhaps. Being reminded to kind of come back to the present. So the exercise we're going to do today is about learning about how to bring our attention back to the present when we notice that we've become distracted or too caught up in either worries about the future or rehashing the past. We're going to do this by tuning into cues from our environment that help us to get out of our minds and sort of focused on what's happening in the external world right now. Now, I think I mentioned this a little bit last time, but something that's worth knowing is that we're going to practice an exercise right now. But my hope is that you'll kind of be able to learn from this exercise what this is like, reconnecting with the present, and be able to do it in your own way, in your own life, however it fits. So if you don't have 5 minutes to spare of quiet, you might have 5 minutes to sit at your desk or in your car or in traffic to do this. And it may not be perfectly quiet, but that's not really the point. The point is about focusing attention. We are going to kind of practice focusing our attention, and what you'll probably find, most of us do, is that during the exercise your mind will wander back to the internal experiences, the thoughts, the feelings, the bodily sensations, plans, daydreams, what you're going to have for tea tonight, whatever. And your task is really just to notice that that's happened. It's not wrong, it's just what minds do. In fact, the very practice of mindfulness is a practice of getting distracted and then very kindly bringing your attention back to focus on what you're paying attention to. It's sort of like flexing and relaxing a muscle. So you flex your focusing attention muscle on a particular area of focus, and then you get distracted and relax, and then you flex again and then relax. So that's normal. That's what's supposed to happen. And if that does happen, don't get cross with yourself. Just kindly notice, oh, I've got caught up thinking about what I have to do this afternoon, that email I have to send, and then bring your attention back to what we're focusing on. You can even congratulate yourself because you've actually woken up to noticing that your mind has gone somewhere else, and that's something we don't always do, even though our minds do wander. Okay, so if everyone just wants to allow yourself to get settled, it's a pretty good idea to sort of sit with your back straight if you can, if that's comfortable. Maybe plant your feet on the floor if that's comfortable. You can have your eyes open for this. And just to begin, let's just practice where our attention can go. So just to begin, see if you can try to let your attention go to this area up here where I'm standing, just this bit of the room right here. Just focus your attention to that part of the room. And then just notice as you let your attention go to maybe the wall behind me, a bit further off, focusing on that part of the room. And then let your attention come back to this area, this table up here maybe. And then follow your attention as it comes back to quite sort of up close, like reading distance, right in front of you. So notice how your attention can go to different parts of the room if you focus it, if you make an effort to focus it. And now just choose a particular area of focus for your gaze. So this could be looking down at the floor, or looking across the room at the wall, or another object you can see. And we're just going to start to focus on what we can see. If your eyes are closed, you can see if you can notice any shapes, images in your mind. But if you're looking at something, just start to notice if you can look in detail at what is in your field of vision. Notice the different colors within your field of vision. Is there one dominant color? Can you notice any variations in tone? If you're watching a wall or another object, can you notice any cracks or dust? Notice any variations in light or shadow. And also notice the textures of what you can see. If there's any movement, watch as your field of view changes moment to moment. What you're doing right now is you're just focusing on your sensory experience of vision right now, what you can see right at this moment. catch your mind travelling or getting into lots of chatter and talk, just notice that that's happened and bring your attention back to what you can see. And now just allow your focus to soften to the visual image and see if you can start to tune into what you can hear. If you want, you can drop your gaze to the floor or close your eyes. See if you can notice different layers of sound that come and go moment to moment. Perhaps noises coming from outside the room, coming from inside the room. Notice how the sounds flux and change from moment to moment. There's no need to go searching for sounds, just notice what's here right now. If you catch yourself labeling the sounds, those are thoughts, just notice that you've gone to thinking and just see if you can tune in to the raw sound itself. And when you're ready, gently bring your attention to my voice and start to widen that attention to your position in the room. You can start to look around, open your eyes if you want. If you're ready, reorient yourself. That was a sort of brief exercise of kind of focusing attention on sights and sounds. I wonder what people's experience of that was. Does anyone want to share how they found that?